This is Higher Maths, it's solutions for homework 11 and we're on question 4. Right, so if you've not completed this, freeze the video and try it. If not, well, you can see the solution. Here we go. I'm going to look at these two curves here, so I have to calculate the area between them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the curves out first of all so that we can see something first of all. So that's going to be minus 8x, that's plus 16 for this one here. For this one over here, what we have is we've got 4x minus x squared. Now, one thing I know about this curve here is with a positive coefficient of x squared, I know that this curve is a minimum, so that should be shaped like that there. And this one here with a negative coefficient, that curve should be shaped like that there. Okay? And what I'm looking for is the area in between these two curves. Now I could draw accurately if I took a bit of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just look at this curve first of all, and if y was equal to 0, x is going to be equal to 0, and it's also going to be equal to 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that curve out just now, okay, just now. Right then, so there we go. So I'll just say that that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I know that this is where that curve is going through. So what I'll do is I'll just draw a parabola up to there and turning and coming through there. Not very accurate, but it'd be okay for what we're doing here. The next curve I know is in that shape there, so I'm just going to draw that here just now, and what I can do is something like that there maybe. Don't know exactly how that's going to be yet, but I know that that's what I'm going to be working out. I'm going to be trying to work out the area of that there. Right then, so let's see, what I want to do is I want to find out the 2 points for where the curves intersect. So let's go for that. So we'll go first of all for points of intersection. What I'm going to do is, because I've got y equals here, y equals there, I'm going to let that equation equal that one there. Okay, so starting off, I'll go with x minus 4 squared is going to be equal to x 4 minus x. Okay, I'm going to expand them just like I have done there already. I just did that to show the shape of the graph for you, and expanded that when that was 4x minus x squared. Okay, what I'm going to do is going to gather everything over onto the left hand side and make it equal to 0. As mathematicians, it makes it easier when we've got something equal to 0 rather than to another number or a constant, and we can solve it from there. Right, gathering everything over, so I've got that x coming over, that x squared, so that will be 2x squared. I've got the 4x coming over, that will be minus 12x plus the 16 equals 0. Then I've got a trinomial, and I'm just going to try and solve that. Common factor first of all, to make it easy for myself. Common factor of 2, so that would be 6x plus 8 equals 0. Okay, dividing both sides by 2, or what I can do is I can just leave that 2 there, put it into 2 brackets, and just factorise this. So I've got a 4 and a 2 coming out there. Both of them are positive or both of them negative. That sign tells me both negative. Yep, that seems to work out for me there. Okay, so what I've got there is, this doesn't equal 0, it's only these two here, so x minus 2 equals 0. So there I've got x equals 2. Here I've got x minus 4 equals 0, so x equals 4. And that's my limits of integration. So that's the limits of integration. Okay, because it's an area question, generally what we're looking at here is we're going to try and integrate between the curves. That's the main thing that we're going to be doing here. So let's go and set up the integral. So what we've got is the area between the curves is going to be equal to an integral sign. What I've got is the limits there are going to be 4 and 2, which I've already worked out there. And what we'll go for is we'll go for the upper minus the lower. Okay, and it's all going to be with respect to x. Right, let's go and substitute our values in for the upper and the lower. So I've still got the 4 here and the 2 there. Right then, so if I look at the curves that I've got here, this curve that's just here, this one, this curve was the one that had a negative coefficient, so that would be this one here. So this is y is equal to x 4 minus x there. and this one here that's at the bottom is going to be the other curve, which is the x minus 4 squared curve. Okay, so when I'm saying it's the upper take away the lower, what I'm thinking about is coming from the top of the graph down the way to where I hit the area that I'm interested in. The first curve that I hit is this one here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that part in there that I've just multiplied out from that bracket. So the upper is 4x minus x squared, and then I'm going to substitute from that the lower. So the lower curve is this one here, the one that's at the bottom of the area, and I'm going to substitute this part in here when I've multiplied it out. Remember to put it into a bracket, because all the signs are going to change as we multiply that bracket out by the minus 1. Right, so still not ready to integrate yet. What I'll do is I'll just multiply that out first of all. Right, so and from there what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up the parts that I need to gather. So let's go for, let's give us between 4 and 2, that's a limit, so gather that together, that will give me 12x. I've got minus 2x squared, and I've got a minus 16 sitting at the end there. And I'm going to integrate that all with respect to x. Okay, so it's in a form where I can integrate it now, and what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and do that. So let's take it from there and go back up to here, okay? So what we've got is, I'm going to integrate it now, so let's put a square bracket around there. It's going to give me 12x power 2 all over 2, so that's the new power just dividing by it. I've got minus 2x, so what I'll go for is minus 2x to the power of 3, all divided by 3. And I've got minus 16, so that's going to be minus 16x. That's just to be the power of 1. So that's going to be between 4 and 2, which are my limits of integration. What I'll then do is I'll substitute these values in. So the first one that goes in is the 4 that's going to go in. Okay, so what I've got is I've got 12, that's going to be 4 to the power of 2, all over 2, minus 2 times, and that's going to be 4 cubed, all over 3, minus 16 times 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract from that there. I'm going to subtract, it's going to go off the screen a bit, but let's go for it. So I've got 12 times 2 squared, all over 2, minus 2 times 2 cubed, all over 3, and I'll just move this over a touch. And what I've got is I've got minus 16 times 2. So there's the work that I'm going to try to complete now. If you've got a calculator, you can put it into the calculator, or you can work it through without that. Quite often this would be a non-calculator question, and you could work this through actually. So that's going to be 6 there, that's going to be 16, so that should give me 96 minus 120 over 3. I'll just keep it in the square bracket just now, and that there's going to be minus 64. Subtracting from that, and that's going to be 6 times 4, that's going to be 24. Subtracting 16 over 3, and let's see, I've got minus 32 there as well. And that's all on the video, that's okay, I can still see that. Right, so from there, I can put that into my calculator or just work it all through again. So what I've got is the area, just say the area is going to be equal to, and we've got 8 over 3 units squared, or what that could be is, that would just be 2 and 2/3 units squared. And that's the question complete. Okay, let's see where we're going to get the marks for this question here. Right then, let's go for the first mark will be for making each equation, setting them up to work out the point of intersection, making one equation equal the other. From there, what we can do is we'll then get our limits of integration. So I'll give a mark for the limits that we've worked out from there. That's 2 so far. I'll give 1 mark for setting up the integral. with the upper minus the lower, so it'll be this kind of line that's here. Go for gathering things together, so we'll get this line here, so I'll go for this one here, gathering all of them together. I'll go for a further mark for the integration, so let's integrate it, so that'll be that one there, quite a lot of marks coming out here. One mark for the substitution into this equation, and finally one mark for the answer. Okay, so let's see how many that was. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this marked the question here out of 7 marks.